Hi folks, it's Coach Kelvin here from the We Run Virtual Run Club and We Run Coach for Leeds and surrounding areas, as well as online coaching. In this little video, I'd like to talk to you about things that are missing in your training, or maybe things that you would like to improve, and how to go about this. And this comes off the back of reviewing one of my runners' marathons. He ran a PB at Manchester, taking just under 13 minutes off his time, and he ran just over 3 hours and 15 minutes. So we're really pleased with the race, but the long-term goal is a Boston Qualifier, which is under 3 hours and 10 for this runner. So we've still got a little bit further to go. And we identified a few things that we would still like to change. And we discussed how we're going to do them over the next 12 months. We're going to have a go at a Boston Qualifier at Manchester next year. So we've got 12 months. So I'm quite excited about that. And it's a really achievable goal. But some of the things that we're going to bring in to his training, we're going to actually pulse them in little bits over long periods of time. And it's quite often something that's missed in training, that people kind of go like, oh, I need this massive aerobic base, so I just do like 6 months of base training, or I'm not strong enough, I need to go through this massive strength phase, and they spend like the whole winter in the gym with a heavy bar on the back. Or the thing that I'd like to lose some weight, and I'm not really going to run that much until I drop this sort of amount of weight. And I'd like to make a suggestion, and that suggestion is maybe take a look at your training. Look to see what things that you would like to add to your training, so things that you would like to improve. And just look at when a good time to just sort of pulse these in is. So with this runner, he is quick, so we're going to work on a strength. So we're going to after a recovery, we're going to bring in a like speed phase, and this is going to be quite easy speed. So it's going to be predominantly neurological work. So there won't be any like super tough sessions in there, just for a short period of time. So whilst we're doing that, we're also going to pulse in a tiny little bit of weight loss as well. Then we're going to bring in a 5k specific block, so that we're going to then maintain weight to make sure that we're fueling right for this 5k specific block. Maybe even put a tiny little bit of that weight back on. We're more than happy to do that in peak training. And then after the 5k, we've got a recovery, and we're going to then just kind of pulse a few other things in there. So one of those is bringing some heavier lifting into his training. So again, we don't want to be under fueling that, so we're going to have a quite a short phase really of bringing in some heavy lifting. And then we're going to transition that heavy lifting into his half marathon training. So the heavy lifting will then become power based, then plyometric based, then maintenance, as we bring in a half marathon training block for the autumn time. This chap actually ran pretty close to his marathon PB in one of his marathon workouts before Manchester, so we're quite confident that we can kind of tick one of his half marathon goals off, and then we'll recover from that, and we'll just keep this going. So within peak training blocks and recoveries, we don't want to be doing heavy strength work or losing weight. So we're just going to look at just these little pulses throughout this 12 months of bringing in the heavy lifting, bringing in the speed, which is one of his strengths, and just a little bit of weight management throughout the course of this, and it's just a guesstimate. We think he will race slightly better, about 5 kilos lighter. Strength is one of his strengths, so we've got to be like really careful with that, but it is something that we've both kind of agreed on. But what we're not going to do is have this lose 5 kilos in 3 months or something like that. We're going to do that over the course of 12 months, and we're just going to pulse it in in little bits, and just the same as the other things. So what I'm trying to sort of say here, let's just kind of summarize that if you do have an area that might be a strength that you want to maintain or improve on, or it might be a weakness that you want to improve on, don't feel like you have to do it all at once. I've done the same thing with a hip niggle. That I've just pulsed in some strength work. I didn't kind of do this thing where I'm like, right, I'm going to spend 8 months getting strong before I can really run in the way that I want to run. I've just kind of pulsed in some strength work as I decrease my running volume. I'm bringing my running volume back. I'm going to race quite soon. And then after a recovery, I'm going to pulse in a little bit more strength work before I then go into a speed phase. And in the autumn time, I'm actually going to run a race that's quite short for me. So just to bring some speed in, and then I'm going to do some other things that lead me towards my goal for next year. So the strength work to get on top of my hip, I didn't just kind of bring it in all at once and think I had to get completely on top of this hip before I could do other things. I just brought little bits in, and I'll still bring bits more in. And what I'm aiming to do is, for me, so for this runner, I'm aiming in about 12 months from now, everything to be coming together. For myself, I'm aiming for September 2024 for everything to come together. So I'll still put lots of fun things in my training, but there will be times where I just pulse in these little kind of bits of strength for my hip, and with this runner that I'm talking about, we'll pulse in little bits of speed, a little bit of weight loss, and a little bit of extra strength work. So I hope that makes some sort of sense, and if you've got any questions or thoughts on this, please just pop them in the comments below. And for now, happy running!